with me right now who's been on the show before. He's from Lansing, Michigan. His name is Patrick Heller. Patrick is a coin dealer, Numismatics.
Yes.
And that is something that I'm getting more and more intrigued in. I've never talked to you about this in the past, Patrick, but my parents left me kind of a nice little gold coin collection, primarily foreign stuff, but also some nice U.S. stuff. I was going over it the other day, and I started thinking to myself, you know, next time I see Patrick, I really need to talk about should Al and Kathy Korelin get more involved in rare coins?
Okay. Well, the answer to that question is maybe.
There you go.
And I'll give you a good reason for that. My company was founded in 1971 by a guy named Bill Bradford. During the 1970s, as he bought collections, he would ask sellers more information about their experience with doing so. And his anecdotal research is that people who began collecting coins and really got interested in it and started studying the history and a lot of other things about it, and did so for at least 5 years, made profit over 90% of the time when they sold. On the other hand, there were a number of sellers who said, I think investing in rare coins is a good idea. I don't really want to know about it. I just want to make money investing in it. And that over 90% of those sellers lost money.
That's interesting. Why, I guess is the logical question there.
It has to do with the studying, in effect, the mini markets, you might say, within the hobby, studying quality of coins, because the quality of what you have affects value, and also determining, though there's such things as the higher the quality, the higher the price goes, and there are certain natural breakpoints where there's a high demand in collectors because the price in the next grade up jumps a lot. Whereas if you buy the higher price coin, there isn't that much of a market for it among collectors. So a collector will tend to learn those kind of things over time, and the people who just want to invest in it just ask for recommendations from a dealer who has an incentive to try to make a higher profit selling whatever they have on hand and not necessarily having the best interest of the collector at heart.
Patrick, you know, I have known you for probably half a dozen or so years. You've been in business for close to 40 years now. Actually, a little bit over 40 years, if I'm not mistaken.
I've been a coin collector for 48 years now and a coin dealer for 31 years.
Well, I mean, if you split the difference, I guess I was fairly close. But, you know, I'm a real believer in diversification, okay? And I think everyone needs to have a certain amount of stock. I think everyone needs to have a certain amount of bullion, whether it's silver or gold, etc. But I would have to say that numismatics probably should fit into that reality for me.
It is one of the things to consider. If you have an interest in precious metals, you have a head start, so to speak, because you're aware of the tangible values of the items. If you have a fascination with history, with artistry, with economics, you can appreciate what might make one item rare and another one common. And with a little bit of studying, you can say, this has unusually nice quality for the era in which it was issued. And another piece you might say, well, they were all made perfect and they're all still around, so they're not so rare. So if you're a bullion investor, you are somewhat predisposed to be ready to be a coin collector who can make the wise choices in what kinds you collect.
How liquid is your particular, the market that you work in? If someone, for example, has a cash call, for lack of better terms, and they need to liquidate within, let's say, a 30-day period, talk to me about that.
Most of it would be liquid almost instantly. Some of it would be slower if it's in a more obscure area of the market. It's not as liquid as bullion products outright, and you do have wider spreads between the buy and sell price. So those are things that everybody needs to keep in mind, saying, is this appropriate for me? And even with coin collectors, I do recommend that they have some percentage of their holdings just in bullion-priced items, so that if you have the unexpected event where you must sell something, you're better off selling the bullion because you can get back in later with a smaller buy-sell spread. There are some rare coins that if you buy a piece and have to sell it, you could look for 10 years and never be able to find a replacement.
Let me ask you this: is numismatics kind of a combination? And I'm just kind of listening to everything you're saying closely, I might add. Is numismatics kind of a combination of, number one, a great place to, let me say, an effective place to put a portion of your capital, number one, and number two, a place where you can really have some fun?
It definitely is an area you can have a lot of fun.
That's what I'm thinking.
And having the fun with it helps you become the collector that's knowledgeable, and you make astute purchases. And then also it helps you be an astute seller, because you may see a cycle for a particular part of your collection saying, this price for these items is too high now. I still like them, but it's a good time to sell. Whereas somebody that's an investor may not really particularly pay attention to the cycle and say, it's a good time to sell now. A lot of collectors do end up loving their collection so much that their intention is to never sell it. But the smart thing is that no one else other than the collector will have the knowledge about their collection to be able to sell it for the best prices.
Let's take a hypothetical case. We got about 2 minutes here, and the hypothetical case is this. Somebody walks into your store in Lansing, Michigan, okay, and they say, I'm very, very intrigued with numismatics. I want to dabble a little bit. Here's $2,500. What do you tell them?
Well, you ask for more information about their time frame. Generally with rare coins, you say a minimum of 3 to 5 years holding period. With their comfort level it's an area of little greater risk, but has more potential gain than you could gain on bullion items. And then you try to find out what areas are of interest to them, such as is it United States or foreign, or gold or silver, or something of relevant history to some part of their background. And then you might, a lot of customers have some idea what they want. And if they ask us for suggestions, we can sit down and show them that this would be a good value and this would not, so you could see both sides of it, what to look for and what to avoid.
Interesting point. We're going to put a banner up for Patrick on our website for those of you who are interested in numismatics. I don't do this stuff right away. I don't put up banners right away, but I've known Patrick for about 6 years. It's been pretty much a very, very comfortable relationship. This is not investment advice. Let me just say that Big Al trusts this guy. If you want more information on numismatics, remember, I'm not an expert. You've got to go to people like Patrick Heller. Click on his banner. Get all the information you want. Thanks, Patrick.